Clinton should be necessarily so confident. Voters in key swing states turn out to the polls that they will vote for her in Colorado, Nevada, and New Hampshire. They show the candidates in an exact tie. Our panel is back to help us understand what is going on in these dead heat polls. Noelle, I promised you I would start with you. So I think one thing that we learned from the last election is that the local pollsters have it a little bit better in their area. And these things are all over the place. I don't think any of us have any clear picture of exactly what's going on. In New Hampshire, though, the UMass Lowell poll there has them even. Colorado, University of Denver, they're at a deadlock at 39. Nevada, Channel 8 News Now, they're tied at 45. What do you think is really going on right now?
Well, I'm glad you brought up those polls because you're right, and they have tightened up. And I think that this is going to be an advantage for Donald Trump because you've got to realize the Donald Trump base, the Donald Trump supporter is a passionate supporter. And that, you know, a lot of people say, both Democrats and Republicans, that Hillary Clinton has had a disadvantage with passion, with people that are so passionate to get out and make sure that she's the next president.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a little lackluster.
Julie, you have said from the beginning that it is all about get out the vote, ground game, that she has a machine like nobody has seen before, that they really have this figured out. Are you seeing evidence that that's working and this is not true?
I'm seeing evidence of that in early voting, as I alluded to, in places like Clark County, Nevada, and other places in Florida. I can go by county in Florida as well. Sadly, I could actually do that. But Ohio is a very good example of where that's not happening, where the Republicans have done a better job, and it looks like Ohio, as a result, will trend towards Donald Trump on Election Day. But in places that matter to them, like North Carolina, like Florida, like Pennsylvania, for that matter, and the Philly burbs, in places like Bucks County, Montgomery County, and Philly, around Philly, in places like Clark County, Nevada, the Democrats have modeled their voters. I keep talking about modeling because it's so important. They have identified over the past year exactly who individually those voters are, and they're doing what they can to get them to the polls. That's something that money cannot buy. That's something polling cannot quantify. That's something that the Trump campaign really should have started to do about a year ago.
Well, money can buy because it takes money to do that. But you're saying that they've made that investment ahead of time. I mean, Kristin, on the flip side of that, people are talking about the quote-unquote Ivanka Trump voter, somebody who thinks that Donald Trump is not great, might be a creep, you know, but they have almost a visceral hate for Hillary Clinton. Anecdotally, I hear from these people, of course, but who knows how many of them? I mean, if there's like 5 of them, and I've heard from all of them, totally possible. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that will all come into play, and these polls definitely show the momentum is with Trump. But the most important battleground state for Trump right now is Florida. He cannot win that White House without Florida, and changing demographics in Florida have made it a more blue state over recent years. Yeah. Puerto Rico right now is dealing with a massive debt crisis, which has caused an exodus from the island to the mainland, more specifically to Florida. Yeah. And once Puerto Ricans get there, they enjoy full voting rights. And Florida's non-Cuban Hispanic population votes overwhelmingly Democrat, so that right there could help Hillary win Florida. Remember, Obama won Florida in 2012 by just about 100,000 votes. So, you know, it's a very volatile state, and if I were Trump, that's where I would be focused right now.
He's got a lot of must-win states. It's not just Florida. There are a bunch of places, so we'll see. I wish we had more time, guys. Thanks to all 3 of you. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
David.